Hello guys and welcome to the Pila experience video. I finally got around to test this area, so for today I prepared 3 different rotations. Now this place is actually pretty big, so just like in my previous Sulfur Mines experience video, I would suggest you look at the video on the background if you want to actually learn the rotations. Since Pila jail is inside a cave, I am not actually able to provide you with a map of the rotations, so the only way you can actually learn the rotations if you don't already know them is to actually check the videos. So with that being said, let's just get into the video. Now there are a few things that I want to point out first about Pila jail. One of them is that this place has more than one entrance into the cave, so in my case I chose the one that is on the side of the Valencia city. Basically, as you leave the Valencia city, you just go straight to the cave, and I will just probably have a screenshot on the screen, but basically that is the entrance that I chose, and it is the one where I'm leaving my camel every single time. So all of the rotations are going to start from that place, and if you are actually choosing the other entrances, then you will probably have to learn the way into the cave yourself, because I myself don't know the way into the cave that well. I only know a part of it, and mostly I know how to walk around if I enter from this place. A few more things that I should mention are that mobs here do have pretty high damage, because it is one of the few places, or actually the only place, where I actually have to heal myself manually to not die from the damage I receive from the other monsters. Also, these monsters do have a lot of HP, because I do need about 3 skills to kill them, whereas at pirates and bandits I can just one-shot the monsters. So if you compare this to pirates and bandits, then you're going to need a lot more attack power to actually be efficient at grinding here. I myself have 223 awakening attack power, and I still think that I need a lot more if I want to grind here efficiently, because 223 is enough to use 3 skills to kill the monsters, but in my opinion this is still not fast enough. Also, I do have 223 awakening attack power because I recently got to snipe a Tet Nuver dagger, so I did switch to Nuver from my Kudum. Instead of having 209 attack power, I have 223, but since I had about the same at Sulfur Mines, I would say that it is actually fair to use 223 at Pila jail, because this place does require a lot of attack power to actually be worth it to come here to grind. Now about the actual rotations, as usual I did grind only on daytime, and I did try to kill the monsters as fast as possible without looting anything from the ground. The other details will be displayed on the screen, so let's just get started with the first rotation. The first rotation that I tested is the one that is the closest to the entrance, and if you are following the video on the background, you will see exactly how to get there and get started. And in my opinion, this rotation is probably the best one at Pila jail. I'm not really saying that because it would have the highest experience, because it obviously doesn't, as some people already know because they grinded here in the past, but I myself like this rotation because it isn't usually taken compared to the third rotation that I'm going to get into later. In my time spent here, this rotation was actually always empty, and it is actually very close to the camel, so I can go AFK or drop my stuff on the camel pretty fast. In terms of actual numbers, this time for this video I decided to test every rotation twice, just to get a more accurate data. So for this first rotation I grinded exactly 30 minutes 2 times, and if I make an average out of those 2 runs, I got about 0.0086% experience per minute at level 59. So if you look at this number, you will notice, if you saw my previous video, that the experience is actually pretty close to the one at Sulfur Mines. I don't think there is anything else I should mention about this rotation, so let's move on to the second rotation. This one is just below the first rotation, so if you're waiting for someone to leave the first rotation or just want to grind something that has less monsters and possibly less contested, then you can just try to grind this rotation, but in my opinion it is the worst one around here, not only because it has the least amount of experience, but also because I personally don't like the rotation itself, how monsters are placed. But again, if you want to grind it, then this is the actual rotation. Here again I grinded twice, with each run being 20 minutes, so in total it would be about 40 minutes of actual grind time, and if I make an average out of that experience, it would be about 0.0075% experience per minute, so it is way less compared to the first rotation. My guess for why I'm actually getting that much less experience here is either because there are less monsters per group, as in less dense, or maybe because bigger monsters give more experience and here maybe less big monsters. Either way, this rotation gave me way less experience, so I will not be grinding this one in the future again. Moving on to the third and last rotation, this one is the rotation that everyone already knows or maybe already saw at someone else, because it is by far the most popular rotation at Pila jail. If you are following the video on the background, then this is one of the ways you can follow to get from your camel to the third rotation. And I'm saying that because I'm pretty sure that there is more than one way to get here, because this place is pretty big and I saw more than one entrance into this third rotations area. If you are coming to Pila jail just to grind this rotation, then you might want to consider to enter in the cave from a different entrance, because the one that I am using is actually pretty far, and the one that is right near the NPC or the node manager is very close to this third rotation. So the one that I was showing right at the beginning of the video is the entrance you should be using if you want to grind just this rotation. I'm not exactly sure where that entrance is because I didn't really use it and my compass expired, but I know it is the entrance that is right near the node manager. Now to talk about the third rotation, this one seems to be pretty well known by other players. So even though Pila jail is not really that populated, still this third rotation seems to be always taken by other players. For me at least it was pretty hard to find this spot empty to actually test it, and that is why I had to test it 3 times, because the first time I grinded here 10 minutes and 20 seconds before someone actually pked me out of the spot, so then I returned and I grinded another 40 seconds just to make exactly 11 minutes, but I'm not going to count that data. The second time I came here I grinded 15 minutes because then my weapon broke, and then the third time exactly 20 minutes. So for the average I will say that I'm only going to be counting the second and third runs, and if I do that, then for this third rotation the experience on average is about 0.0091% experience per minute. So as expected, this rotation turns out to be the best one at Pila jail, although not by much, because I am pretty sure that I can get more experience out of the other 2 runs if I do them again, now that I actually know the rotation itself very well, so I could probably optimize it better. On the second run on this third rotation, I actually got an experience pretty close to the first run, so I would say that the first and third rotations are pretty close to each other in terms of experience, but nevertheless on this test the third rotation turns out to be the best one. Now, in actual everyday use, you might be better off to grind the first rotation just because the third rotation is so contested by other people. So if you want to go grind somewhere without being disturbed by other people who might want to PK you out or just steal your groups, then you will probably be better off at the first rotation. But this just depends on what you want, or maybe you want to grind some other rotation entirely. Because as I said, this dungeon is pretty big, so I'm pretty sure you can find even more rotations on top of the ones that I showed that might even have more experience. But in my opinion, from what I know, at least at the moment, the third rotation is the best one here because other people seem to just want to grind this one. Now, to give you guys the conclusion, I would say that in my opinion Pila jail is not really as good as people make it out to be, because the experience is not as good as other places, and if you don't get a sigil necklace, then the money income is not that great either. The junk loot that drops here is indeed very good because it is 2.4k each, so it is the best one I saw so far, but in return these mobs don't give you any form of silver drops, so it kind of balances out because you're not going to get any silver drops, but in return you get more value out of the junk items. And the other drops are just normal Pila scrolls, and I'm not exactly sure, but I also believe there is some form of gem, even though I got none while I was here. So in terms of actual money, this place isn't really that much better compared to the other locations, but since I'm only testing experience for this video, I will say that you're better off going somewhere else because the experience here is not really that good. Also, on top of that, if you want to grind a safe area where you don't have that high chance to die, then this place is not for you, because here you need probably at least 290 DP to actually be able to survive the monsters, because they do hit very hard, and you also need a lot of attack power to kill them efficiently. So unless you have very high-end gear, then I would suggest you not come here to grind. Now, to actually end the video, on the left side of the screen will be displayed the experience per hour for each of these 3 spots, and on the right side will be the same experience per hour, but it will be converted as if I was a level 58 wizard. So you can use the right side values if you want to compare them to my previous experience videos. With this all being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and maybe found it somewhat helpful, and if you have any other suggestions or something that I missed, or maybe found some other rotations that are better, then make sure to leave a comment below because I'm pretty sure other people will benefit from the extra information. So thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you guys next time.